our time between letting you visit with one another, very important, and getting in some important business items. So we're going to start with a few announcements. I'm Ann Flynn, the current president of Dance Studies Association, and we have a series of announcements followed by a very short membership update. And so we'll begin with Hannah Costner.
Hello. Before we get started, the graduate students will circulate. As you all know, every year the grad students raise money for the Graduate Student Travel Award, which enables graduate students, it defrays the cost of attending the conference. And there's a book raffle that they're having that many of you have donated your books for, and many of you have purchased raffle tickets. Now is the last time to purchase raffle tickets before the raffle winners are announced at the end of the luncheon. So the graduate students will be filtering through. Can you guys raise your hands so that people can see where you are? So as we're starting, they will circle through. Please purchase raffle tickets and support graduate student travel so that they can be here with us at the conference. Thank you. And now I turn it, I think, back to Amy. Or to Rebecca Rawson.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Rebecca Rawson. I'm the editor of the Studies in Dance History book series, which is one of several publications that DSA produces. And I'm actually here to say something briefly about another one of those publications, which is called Conversations Across the Field of Dance. And we have a recent issue that those of you who were members of SDHS have received, which is called The Teacher's Imprint. And we've decided in a recent meeting that we will be putting all of these issues, current and past and future, online, and we will make those accessible and open access. So that's just something to know. If you are interested in being a guest editor of that, please send Sandra Lothavier, who's the current editor of Conversations, any proposals. But in the meantime, we have a really exciting one coming up for the following year, and I'd like to introduce the two folks who will be editing that.
Really quickly, I'm Melissa Borelli.
Hi, I'm Ana Maria Comadre.
And we're co-editing the upcoming Conversations Across the Field of Dance Studies. We've put a copy of the call on everyone's table so you can have a look at it. And if you're really interested, you can email us. And the deadline is there, and it's co-sponsored by Clot Moves, the consortium of popular dance studies that is both US and UK.
And in this issue, we would like to think about the intersections of the popular with the political. We're primarily interested in how popular dance, broadly conceived, emerges as a mode of communication, citizenship, resistance, and pleasure. So please contribute.
And if you want to ask us any questions, we're around. You know who we are, so just please ask us. And thank you.
I just want to thank DSA for the opportunity to pay tribute to Andre Brown today. Her recent death is very unexpected, and there are a number of people here who know her in a variety of capacities, as well as know her through her publications in French and English. She's a professor in the anthropology of dance at the University of Northampton. But Andre has been fundamental in developing the discipline across the board. And she's continued the trajectory of, she started as a student in social anthropology with John Blacking at Queen's University of Belfast. So her outlook was shaped by her upbringing in Swiss mountain village before coming to London to train in dance. And she was equally at home in cosmopolitan centers, in beaches, and in diverse environments around the world. The scope of her research is vast. Ethnography of Vendelic people in South Africa, indigenous Tiwi in Australia, and multiple projects in India and London. Her teaching crossed borders as well. She taught how to apply anthropological analysis and ethnographic research to ballet, movement rituals, and diverse dance and movement practices, particularly at the MA and PhD levels. But she was also a willing lecturer to first-year students on topics such as dance and citizenship. Ice dancing and exoticism, post-colonial identity construction, the Sarabhai family in dance and activism in India, and intercultural dance and music, as it was called in the 1980s, somatics and social construction of space. These are kind of just an example of some of her interests. The 2-year South Asian Dance in Britain project brought new insight to the field, and she was co-director of the cross-cultural research project on dance and music performance that crossed continents, forums, and universities. So all these strands in teaching and research, leadership, and collegiality came together with the Korea Mundus program, a joint 2-year master's in anthropology of dance with universities in Norway, France, and Hungary, and of course Roehampton. So Erasmus funded its scholarships have gone to students from every continent, and the consortium has just been funded for its second 5 years. She treasured all her families, her partner Dominique, and sons Julian and Aristi. She should honor a number of the TV family. Her communities include students, nomadic academics, dancers, and her tango group. Of course, those are those who worked with her. She had an elegant sense of style and vitality of life, known for her scarves, fabulous shoes, and immaculate lipstick, among other things. Her legacy continues in publications and the institutions she's built. And those who've learned generosity, spirit, and academic rigor.
I'm here to honor Camille Hardy, who was a founding member of the Society of Dance History Scholars, and she worked on the board of directors from 1982 to 1985, and was a conference chair in 1983 and 1991. I first met Camille when I was a graduate student at NYU, and she was head of the Dance Critics Association. She was also teaching dance history at NYU Tisch when I was at Performance Studies, and hired me to lift a lot of boxes for her. And a number of graduate students also were hired to walk her little poofy dog. I remember Camille as someone who always dressed in nylons and high heels and smoked incessantly those femi-long cigarettes. But she was super, super generous as a mentor, and she was really a leading member in starting to think about the intersections of dance criticism and dance history. She was also a stickler for grammar. From October 2001 until 2005, Camille served as the principal researcher and researcher at large for the Popular Balanchine Project, sponsored by George Balanchine Foundation. She was she wrote for Dance Magazine, Village Voice, The World, Ballet News, Ballet Review, Dance Chronicles, Stage Bill, Ballet International, and London Dancing Times, as well as hosting broadcasts with the Voice of America and PBS Channel 13. She was a faculty member at NYU, at Cornell University, the University of Texas at Austin, National Academy of Arts, and University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, where she served as assistant to the Dean of Fine and Applied Arts from 1979 to 1984. She also, whenever she worked outside of New York, she commuted constantly back to New York to see work and write about it. She was, as I said, a very, very generous mentor, as was Andre. So I'd like to just take a moment of silence before we begin the membership meeting to honor these two wonderful women who have recently passed away. Thank you.
We have one more item of business, which should take 4 or 5 minutes, and before we let you enjoy each other's company again, I would like to declare the first ever membership meeting of the Dance Studies Association called to order. There are 2 items of business. The treasurer's report is 1.0.
Hello, and now I'll switch my hat out to DSA treasurer. I'm just going to go up on my toes because I don't want to have to touch that, but I'm a little too short for it. So, during the process of the merger, we brought together the CORD and SDHS finances, and everything is now together. We have a bank account that says Dance Studies Association. So I know we're mostly credit-based these days, but if you are ever writing a check, you can now write it out to Dance Studies Association, which is very exciting. And the organization is in very good financial health. We are looking, yes, very good financial health, due to the tireless work of members of the boards of CORD and SDHS and now DSA. And we have a really exciting membership base of about 700 members right now combined. And of course, we're always excited for that number to grow. So even as we continue to go out, we hope that we will still be able to reach, even farther and to continue to grow that membership base. But that is about where we are right now. And that concludes the treasury.
And the President's report. I have 6 items. Number 1, Board of Directors. Thank you again to the SDHS and CORD Board of Directors, most of whom stayed on for extra years of service in order to steward the merger to completion. Please, anyone who's ever been a member of either the CORD or SDH board, would you please stand for a moment to be recognized? Thank you. Very early in 2018, the first election of the Dance Studies Association will take place. The organization needs to fill 11 board positions. So please, read the emails that will be coming very soon. The Dance Studies Association Nominations Committee consists of Thomas DeFrance, Susan Foster, Anusha Kadar, Stacy Prickett, the first elected representative on the membership elected representative on the nominations committee, and Chair Kinyan Seto. Details about all the positions and instructions about how to submit your name and bios to the nominations committee will all be arriving by email in the next few weeks. Needless to say, this is an important moment for DSA. And the organization needs support from the membership. Number 2, website. The DSA website committee is busy at work on the construction of the new DSA website. We are working with a New York-based firm named Familiar after a search process that took place in the winter of 2017. The anticipated date of completion is January 1st, 2018. At that point, the CORD and SDHS website content will be archived on the new DSA site so that DSA's roots in this new organization remains visible into the future. Number 3, archiving. The CORD archive is housed at the University of Maryland, and the SDHS archive is housed at the New York Library for the Performing Arts. If you have any archival materials to donate, please be in touch through the existing website address, and we will work with you to deposit the materials. A special shout out to Lauren Busick from Ohio, from Columbus, who recently donated a complete set of dance research journals, which will address gaps in the existing collection at the University of Maryland. Number 4, conferences. DSA's first international conference is taking place at the University of Malta in July 2018. Please see the call for proposals and do your best to circulate the call within your own networks. Brandon Shaw, Malika Sarko-Thomas, and their colleagues in Malta, along with the DSA management company, AEG, are busy at work getting ready to host DSA next summer. Please do your best to get your department to buy an ad for the conference program, as this is an important source of revenue and helps DSA support conference attendance. DSA's 2019 conference will take place at Rutgers University in the fall, in celebration of the opening of a new performing arts center. Julia Ritter and Jeff Friedman of the Rutgers Dance Department will be our hosts. Professional development, 5. The new board structure for DSA includes a vice president for professional development. This is an area that DSA hopes to develop in a substantive way so that members at all stages of a career can access resources and support. Please find or contact Ray Miller if you have ideas. And finally, 6, aspirations. So, the merger of CORD and SDHS is complete. The boards kept their eye on the prize. We focused on the legal and financial minutia, and now the organization can move into a more spacious place of considering who it wants to become. This has been a long process, so if I don't get through this without some tears, please forgive me. How does DSA want to serve the field? How does it want to serve its members? How can DSA be a positive change maker in today's world? How can this fully feminist organization harness its incredible assets to support its members, to help us see our blind spots and be courageous, to make good things happen in the diverse communities where we all work and live? What does that goodness look like? Well, I'd like to suggest that that goodness looks like dancing. And that the organization always stays grounded and remains steadfast in the dancing and the lessons that dancing has to offer. Playfulness, discipline, discernment, doggedness, expressiveness, and attunement to oneself and to others. DSA's members will be coming to the organization with different needs, desires, and hopes. If DSA can stay attuned to that diversity, then it can roll up its sleeves, put itself out there, take the work seriously, but not take ourselves too seriously, and let the dancing percolate, shine through, and make a difference in our communities. I call the meeting to an end.
And that was beautiful. Thank you. And one of the things that has been so rewarding about working on this merger process over the past couple of years is really seeing the work that Anne Flynn and Ann Cooper Albright, as presidents of CORD and SDHS, put into this. And I think you can hear a lot of what's behind that in the words that Anne just said. And so I'm going to ask Anne to stay here and Anne to come up. And the DSA board just has a little token of our appreciation for all of the work that you both have put in through this merger process. Also recognizing all of the people that are behind all of the work that the two of you have really spearheaded as we got across the finish line. So we have a little token of our appreciation from a little independent florist near the Airbnb where Anusha Kedar has been sitting. Enjoy the rest of your salad, and as the vegan and gluten-free entree comes out, I'll invite the graduate students up to complete the raffle. We'll enjoy a few minutes of eating, and then we'll go on with our awards ceremony.
for as DHS?
So we actually had a very generous donations of books. We had almost 40 books donated to us for our raffle, so thank you all so much for contributing to that.
And we raised $785.
That will go towards graduate students being able to travel and these sorts of conferences. So thank you all so much for participating. We're going to have 18 lucky winners today. How this is going to work is we have a selection of books out at the registration table. So as you are going to the keynote, you'll walk, and if you are one of our winners, you'll stop at the registration table and choose your 2 books. So just make sure you stop there. It'll be first come, first serve if you are a winner today.
So we're going to live draw the tickets right now.
Helen Thomas. K2. K2, you see? You hear? Great, awesome, thank you. Janet O'Shea. Ingber is the last name. Ingber. Yes, thank you. So make sure you come to the registration table, remember that. Margarita Tortajada. Wait, I should count how many we've had so far. Oh, you are. Okay, great. She's keeping track. Natalie Zerba. Awesome. And Heider. Your last name. Heider? Awesome. And Linda Garden. Gardon. Hopefully you heard that. Linda. Maybe you're Hannah Costrin. 0132. Make sure you come to the registration desk. We got Rosemary Candelario. Ronnie Brosterman, I think your name was cut off a little bit. Number 470488. Nona Monahan. Yay! Naria Kadus. Naria, ticket 470460. I'm having a hard time reading his name. Jatard Samuk. The number is 470047. And Susan Foster. And I think that's it. Is that all the winners? Awesome. Oh gosh, maybe we should put this up. Cool, so make sure you come to the registration desk and pick out your prize. Thank you all so much.
Vice President of Awards and Prizes for the Dance Studies Association, and we're going to continue the award ceremony. So feel free to chat or visit in between the awards. I just want to say a couple of words before we start the ceremony. So the ceremony that we're holding today is a culmination of a lot of work done by a collection of generous people in merging organizations. It was necessary to create a task force on awards and prizes, and we had a group of SDHS and CORD members who contributed to the consolidation of the awards, to the composing of the job description, the VP of Awards and Prizes, and also to just elaborating some protocols for how to move forward. People who served on the committee were Kenyon Sito. She was chair of the awards committee from CORD, Jennifer Fisher, Vinachka Benahum, Emily Wilcox, and Alexander Cole. And then moving forward, I want to thank several people who just helped move past that task force. That would be Kenyon, again, who was really fundamental to just the stability of understanding all the CORD awards and the CORD procedures. Janice Ross, who took on the role of chair of the Joint Book Awards Committee for this year. So we consolidated the awarding of all the books to eliminate redundancy in re-awarding. And Janice took on a huge task of leading that committee. I also want to thank Ann Flynn, who helped to draft a recommendation for board consideration based on our task force report. As part of the implementation of the recommendations, we formed a standing committee for awards and prizes. And this is in Joanna D. Doss, BK Preston, and Navanti Magoo yesterday to continue the planning process to include envisioning, in addition to all the other awards that we're giving, we are envisioning 2 new awards to acknowledge dance in the public sphere and also to collaborative research in dance. So these are exciting developments for the field, and we hope that these will be forward-looking toward new approaches to scholarly production and the advancement of knowledge in dance research. I also want to thank everyone who served on the award selection committees this time around. All the names of the folks serving on those committees are included in your program. And deep gratitude goes to Ann Cooper-Albright and Ann Flynn, without whose combined labor this merger would not be possible, as well as to Hannah Kostrin, who has been an amazing conference chair, and along with Kenyon and Janet Willems from our management organization, helped in planning this intricately choreographed awards ceremony. So, I'm just going to start by reading the award winners for the Graduate Student Travel Awards, and then we're going to move forward through the awards and have various people come up to give the awards. These folks have served on the awards committee or in some way were connected to the awards, and we're going to be reading citations and presenting the awards. So the Graduate Student Travel Awards for this year go to Elian Hill and Laura Quinton. And now I'd like Sansan Kwan to come up and present the Gertrude Lippincott Award.
Hi. Well, that's probably better. Because I'm too short. I'm here representing the committee for the Gertrude Lippincott Award. The Gertrude Lippincott Award is awarded annually to the best English language article published in dance studies. Named in honor of its donor, a devoted teacher of modern dance in the Midwest and mentor to many students, it was established to recognize excellence in the field of dance scholarship. And the award this year goes to Kareem Kurchandani for his paper, Snakes on the the dance floor, Bollywood, gesture, and gender. So Snakes on the Dance Floor is a remarkably this is the text that the committee wrote to honor your paper, is a remarkably well-written text and offers innovative research relevant to the fields of dance, critical gender studies, post-colonial queer studies, and South Asian studies. The committee truly appreciated how the essay invokes dance and desire in a complicated, globalized context, focusing on the ways that South Asian boys and men in nightclubs embody the filmic gestures of Bollywood screen divas Madhuri Dixit and Sridevi. The bodies and dances that film are never just reduced to sexual and countersexual drives, gestures, poses, moves, and frames. The evocative movement descriptions that drive the multiple sites of analysis underscore Kareem's pursuit of the political potential of diva choreographies. The committee was impressed by the insightful synthesis of film and dance analysis, interviews, and ethnography. It is an exciting, solid contribution to the cultural history of gesture in dance and in film.
Thank you. I'm humbled and grateful to be in your company, and I'm standing on my toes. I want to add today that my essay, as Sansan has said, is as much about politics as it is about dance. It documents how misogyny, homophobia, and nationalisms collude to place limits on actresses, boys, and men who dance in ways deemed too vulgar, strange, or feminine. My interlocutors in this larger research project teach me that gender, race, class, and ability affect who is allowed to dance, how they are allowed to dance, or even to call what they do dance. Many of the men I interviewed turned to social dance in nightclubs to practice their embodied artistries precisely because they were not allowed to study dance as boys. I take them seriously, pausing to make it into my class. I must work harder to invite other bodies into my studios and classrooms, work harder to teach across difference, and revisit curricula in order to equip students with a wider range of tools to think, move, and organize with. Dance studios and classrooms are important sites for students to try on, rehearse, and retool politics. As such, our projects as dance researchers and educators must be a decolonial one that purposefully destabilizes the gender binary, able-bodiedness, and white, Euro-Western, and settler privilege, with an eye towards creative excellence and pleasure, and without a possessive investment in tradition and form. Thank you.
So now Janice Ross will come up and talk about the process that was used to award the recognition for books. Thank you for seriously.
Otherwise, it says something very bad about the height of dance study scholars. So, as part of the commencement of the new Dance Studies Association, as Rebecca said, the decision was made to consolidate the book awards and the publications because we really wanted to avoid the kind of duplication that's happened in the past and to represent much more broadly the field. And pockets of the field that have been under-recognized at this point, like anthologies, digital. So we're eager to encourage you all in the future to really submit everything you do in the way of publication, journal articles. It presented a unique problem for us this year because we didn't feel we had a robust enough sample to give 2 of the awards, and we really agonized over it. I had an extraordinary committee of Kenyon, Cheryl Dodge, Alana Lindgren, Angela Kane. And in conclusion, we found we couldn't give a Bueno award this year nor could we give the Outstanding Publication Award. That's the bad news. The good news is that we inaugurate a new award this year, which is called at this point, the First Book Award. And it's really in thanks to Rebecca Kowal's vision, teamed with Mary Bueno's vision and generosity. I think she's the Book Award angel for the DSA. Yes. And it actually had its genesis in the same kind of conversation that happened between Selma Jean Cohen, Mary, and Mary's mother 46 years ago, I think, when the Bueno Award was inaugurated. And that was that there needs to be a new category to acknowledge. So we're very pleased to award the Bueno First Book Prize to Royona Mitra for Akram Khan, Dancing New Interculturalism. As her title suggests, Royona argues for a rethinking of the disputed term intercultural through an in-depth and insightful analysis of Khan's performances and choreography. This well-researched and eloquently written book considers Khan's work within the context of Britishness and Cool Britannia, as espoused by Tony Blair's Labour government. She describes as a multi-corporeal performance training. She offers a nuanced account of her encounters with release technique, contact, capoeira, physical theater, and of her own physicalized conflicts between verticality and horizontality, gravity and body weight, and the role of the spine. Through sophisticated choreography for the 2012 London Olympics, she applies a multi-layered lens to trouble the complex relationships at play in British multiculturalism, identity politics, and contemporary performance. In so doing, she considers the body as a site of political intervention and how Khan queers contemporary dance. Mitra's work offers new ways to understand his politicized aesthetic. She articulates what makes Khan's interculturalism new and how it is manifest in his art. Through a critical analysis of diaspora, interculturalism, identity, and hybridity in his work, Royona forces dance scholars to examine the broader context and implications of contemporary dance making within global economies of culture. Congratulations.
It's just such an honor to be receiving this inaugural award, particularly because it's from a community of scholars who have created an intellectual home for me in the last few years, particularly in the context of my participation with the Mellon Dance Studies seminar. And I thank you all so much, because my affiliation in the last few years has given me the courage to be braver, to be more provocative, to take more risks, and to decenter the field in ways that I didn't have the courage to do so before. So thank you for that. This means a lot to me to be acknowledged by this community in particular. I birthed a version of this book in the form of my PhD dissertation 10 days before I birthed my daughter, Hira. The lived reality of parenting a child of mixed race and cultural heritages, alongside my wonderful Scottish-American partner, Colin, as the UK political landscape continued to turn unpalatable, is the embodied lens through which I conceptualized Khan's new interculturalism. A lived condition and a resistive political stance. In a way This award recognizes my attempt to make sense of my own family's embodied realities. This book would not exist without the unwavering support of Paula Kennedy, the commissioning editor at Palgrave at the time, and Rachel Fensham and Peter Burnish, the series editors of New World Choreographies, who championed it from the word go, and I'm grateful to them all. But it certainly would not have taken the form that it has without the critical collaboration of Akram Khan himself, whose endlessly open, generous, and trusting investment in my vision enabled me to lead him into uncharted territories. I cannot thank him enough, and he's absolutely delighted with this award as well. I've always found myself to be a bit of an outsider to dance studies because I started my training in theatre studies within the UK context. So for me, this recognition is a timely reminder that our field champions exciting and messy possibilities that emerge in the middle of disciplines, in between disciplines, and that we must continue to resist all forms of insularity to ensure our field's growth and sustenance. So to this end, I want to evoke the words of the British cultural studies giant Stuart Hall, who, in his vehement critiques of inward-looking nationalist rhetoric of purity, championed every kind of hybridity by proclaiming that the future belongs to the impure. I raise a toast to the Dance Studies Association and our field and our impure futures. Thank you.
All right, the second prize, and I want to mention this is the one award that extends back 3 years. So this is for any publication. It's the Oscar G. Brockett Prize for Dance Research. So any award within any publication in the previous 3 years, and all categories of publication at this. The committee, it gives us, for Kate's Watching Weimar Dance. And Kate, you're welcome either to come up or other. Kate's book offers a compelling addition to an emergent literature on spectatorship and dance. As part of her original contribution, she develops the notion of archives of watching, theorizing watching itself as a form of motion, and in her words, a peripheral dance between the physical and abstract. She uses this to show how historically situated viewing practices shape dance performances, and how these performances in turn impact upon spectator subjectivities. She begins with an important reorienting of German dance within the first few decades of the 20th century, which has commonly been articulated in dance histories as Ausdrucktanze, and she reframes it as Weimar dance, a more inclusive term that embraces not only concert dance, but also popular forms of cabaret, revue, experimental theater. Through meticulous archival analysis in conversation with contemporary ideas in dance studies, Kate shows how audiences saw things in performances that could not have occurred, but instead reveal these social anxieties that those audiences experienced during this period. She persuasively argues in lucid prose how viewing German dance in different national contexts and at different temporal moments complicates political investments and the histories that we construct in response to dance. Watching Weimar Dance demonstrates eloquent and engaging dance research that is thoroughly deserving of the 2017 Brockett Prize for Dance Research. Congrats.
Thank you so much, Janice. Thank you to the committee. I come from from the very distant, or rather I work in the very distant field of theater studies, but this room has always very much been a home. I think there are a lot of us in that respect. I think it's great we get together once a year. I think it's also so important, the relationships that come out of these moments into the in-between times, and for that, this is something I wouldn't be holding in my hands without so many people in this room and so many conversations, so thank you. And I want to say thank you to Susan Manning as a particular mentor on this project and over the years.
So next, Kenyan Seto is going to come and introduce the Outstanding Scholarly Research Award. Oh, Jennifer Fisher is going to introduce the Outstanding Scholarly Research Award.
This award honors an exceptional scholar or leader for sustained contributions to dance research. The awards committee is pleased to give the 2017 Outstanding Scholarly Research Award to Thomas DeFranz from Duke University. Revelations, Alvin Ailey's embodiment of African American culture, an innovative work that offered a series of theoretical interventions on the racial, gendered, and sexual genealogies of the Black dancing body. DeFranz's numerous influential essays have revolutionized the field of critical dance studies, providing a powerful set of questions and methods calling for the importance of critical race perspectives in the field. His several edited anthologies have likewise made significant contributions to the field and offered pioneering perspectives on dance history, dance ethnography, and dance pedagogy. Whether he is writing about tap dance, filming people, modern and postmodern dance, or hip-hop and other popular forms, DeFranz illuminates crucial differences between Euro-American and African-American aesthetics and provides important insights into choreographic practices and viewing expectations. His many exemplary scholarly works have contributed centrally and substantially to our understanding of aesthetics and race politics, and have inspired the entire field to reevaluate its orientation towards race and dance history. The awards committee is pleased to give the 2017 Court Award for Outstanding Scholarly Research in Dance to Tommy DeFranz.
I can actually stand by the title. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The email that came from Anne telling me about this came in a really complicated week, and it meant the world to me, and it still means the world to me. My nieces who live in Indianapolis were like, they wanted to come and be here, and I said, well, we'll celebrate together Thanksgiving. But my family has been really just excited, and I've been super excited by this honor, and very much appreciate it. I didn't prepare comments, but I want to share the opening paragraph is something I'm working on, because for me, I think there's a way that this work, if we want to call it work or labor, or how we want to think of it, this work in the field of dance studies and artistry and performance studies and theater studies is about kind of keeping this idea of opening space when it's possible, opening the space up through the opportunity. So I've been really trying to rethink this question of what does Black dance do, and kind of this kind of stabilizing narrative of Black dance. And I'm trying to think about how Black performance exists to confirm the presence of Black people in the world. We never forget we're here, but together sometimes we forget to make space and to transform the space. That's our opportunity in this proto-feminist, anti-racist, queer-affirming space of DSA, and I'm very glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
So next we have Joanna D. Doss, who's going to present the Distinction in Dance Award.
Hi everyone. The 2017 Distinction in Dance Award goes to Lynn Garafola. Lynn Garafola has been a landmark scholar, teacher, and mentor who has helped shape the field of dance studies for 30 years. Lynn's first book, or monograph, Diagos Ballet Russe, was a landmark work that explored the social and economic contexts of one of the 20th century's most important dance companies. She's also the author of Legacies of 20th Century Dance and the editor of several important books, including Rethinking the Self, New Perspectives on the Romantic Ballet. Her scholarly contributions extend beyond the written word. As a true public scholar, she has curated exhibits at the New York Public Library for the Performing Arts, the New York Historical Society, and City Center in New York, and she has appeared on several television and radio programs. Lynn has also been an outstanding teacher and mentor. In addition to teaching dance history at Barnard College, she's supervised dozens of senior theses on topics as wide-ranging as the work of Bill T. Jones, the Argentine tango, and dance for people with Parkinson's disease. She's mentored dozens of budding scholars nationwide, serving on dissertation committees at several other institutions. Finally, Lynn has dedicated herself to service in the field, particularly to SDHS. She was the editor of the SDHS monograph series from 1991 to 1998, chair of its fundraising committee from 2000 to 2001, and chair of its editorial board from 2002 to 2004. And though Lynn has retired from Barnard College in May, hence why I think this is an appropriate moment for her to receive this award, she's not done with her contributions to the field. She is currently working on an exhibit, and she's also working on a book manuscript on Bronislava Nijinská that promises to be an exciting and revelatory look at one of the 20th century's greatest ballet choreographers. And on a personal note, Lynn is the reason that I went into dance scholarship, as she was one of my professors in undergraduate that opened my eyes to the possibility of even becoming a dance scholar. She continued to be a mentor when I first went to graduate school at NYU, also showing me that you could be a mentor even if you are not at the same institution as someone, and has instilled in me the idea that I should pay it forward in the same way. And then, as a small anecdote, when I came back to do my PhD at Columbia, I decided to do an independent study in global approaches to dance studies. And I created my reading list, and Lynn read many of the books on that list for the first time in order to do the independent study with me, in order for us to have in-depth conversations. And I don't know many other full-time, busy professors who are willing to do extra reading outside of their fields for a graduate student in order for that graduate student to have greater, richer conversations. So it just shows her true dedication to her students, to the people she mentors, her willingness to open wide to the breadth of dance studies knowledge, and I couldn't be prouder to present this award to her. So thank you, Lynn.
I just want to look at it for a moment. It's very nice. Just hold it for a moment. Thank you, Joanna. And thank you, friends and colleagues of SDHS, CORD, and now DSA. I am deeply touched and honored by your recognition. And in addition, halls are full of echoes. So in addition, I want to thank a few SDHS colleagues who are no longer here physically, but continue to live in our memories. Selma Jean Cohen, who believed passionately in scholarship about dance and in building organizations such as SDHS to advance that goal. Barbara Barker, the early SDHS president, the only SDHS president ever to be a Bluebell girl at the Paris Lido. It's true. Who opened my eyes to the wonders of 19th century spectacle ballet, and Joanna had to read parts of Barbara's book, and she opened my eyes to many other things too. Eero Tenbeck, the wonderful historian of dance in Montreal, and one of our authors, whose career was tragically cut short by breast cancer. Estrella Casero Garcia, whose pioneering work on dance in fascist Spain was also prematurely ended by cancer. And the last that I'm mentioning in this very, very short list, my dear friend and colleague Sally Baines, who's here, but not here. Selma Jean would be thrilled to see you all sitting here today, and to know that there's another room of people. The field is indeed thriving, but work remains to be done. This is now sounding like a speech from the 1930s. The vast majority of dance periodicals have yet to be digitized. Okay, publishers, think about that. Dance Magazine, The Dancing Times, Dance Observer, Dance Scope, Dance News, Ballet Review, even Selma Jean's own Dance Perspectives, never digitized. The training of scholars remains something of a problem, with dance sometimes sacrificed to the demands of other disciplines. Finally, we need to make sure that there are jobs for our rising generation of scholars, and there are any number of them in this audience. So that's a task that's still undone. So I conclude briefly once again with thanks to SDHS and to the community of scholars that are now all gathered together from all the capacious organizations, but the scholars past as well as present. And I include, and I want to say, the scholars and students who have helped me, have helped make me what I am today. Thank you.
Okay, I think, yes, so Kinyan Sato is going to come and present the Dixie Durr Award.
The Dixie Durr Award for Outstanding Service to Dance Research recognizes individuals who sustain existing structures, institutions, and organizations for dance research. The 2017 recipient is Anne Cooper Albright, Auburn College. Albright has served the field of dance studies throughout her career starting in the 1990s. She has been an active member of CORD and has had significant roles in SDHS, where she chaired the editorial board from 2004 to 2012, serving as director of the entire organization for the past 3 years, 2014 to 2017. One major focus during her leadership of SDHS has been the merger with CORD, which promises to result in a vital, essential, and intellectually vibrant organization, capable of moving the field of dance studies far into the future. Service for Albright extends beyond her outstanding scholarly works and achievements to include numerous group endeavors such as anthologies, panels, and conferences. intended to build the field of dance studies. One nominator described the core of Albright's service work as an embodiment of loyalty and engagement, because she sees her participation in dance studies as a group endeavor, not a solo. Another nominator applauded her for continuously reaching out to serve her colleagues and her field. Practical and grounded, yet always pushing out and stretching the limits, Albright leads and encouraged by examples. The awards committee unanimously agreed that Albright richly deserves the recognition of the Dick Cedar Award confers and the sincere gratitude of members of the field. So, please join me and welcome Albright.
Deeply grateful for this award. So service can sometimes be seen as lesser work. It's oftentimes considered women's work. In the academy, first we have scholarship, and then teaching, and then service. But I like flying low and moving on the ground. And my years in contact improvisation taught me that in supporting another person's weight or another institution's weight, I learned to feel my own. In dancing in contact with others, I surprised myself and moved beyond what I thought I could do. Service is like that too. It pushes you past your own world into a bigger space, which for me ended up being a wonderfully supportive environment. So I encourage you all to just stretch yourself and really give service to this new dance studies organization. I want to thank Susan Manning for calling me up in 2004 and asking me to get involved as the chair of the editorial board of the Society of Dance History Scholars. By the way, I can't believe that I even belong to something called Society. But I also want to thank Sarah Davies Cordova for being by my side throughout the entire Athens conference, and Anne Flynn for meeting me over these past 2 years and sharing in that final push to bring DSA into the world. And I want to thank you all, friends and colleagues, for helping me expand the horizons of my life in dance. Thank you.
So that concludes our award ceremony. There are just a couple of things that I want to mention. So the plenary will begin at 2:30 in the Great Hall, so that we hope that you'll all join us for that. And I also want to ask the award winners to meet Kenyon and me on stage for a group photo. And I also want to echo something that Janice said about submissions for awards. It's really important that we all put our own work out there for consideration for these awards. That really shows the robust productivity of the field, and it makes it a lot easier for the committees to actually select award winners and feel confident in their choices. So I hope that you all feel emboldened to submit your work for consideration. Okay, thanks so much for your attention.